So hi everyone, today we're diving into a fascinating period of American history, the colonial period of New England. So this era laid the foundation for many of the values and institutions we know today. So what is exactly was New England during this time? Well, it refers to the northeastern section of what is now the United States. One of the defining characteristics of early New England was its settlers, primarily the Puritan colonists. These folks were serious about their religious beliefs and sought to create a society based on their interpretation of Christianity. They exemplified the seriousness of Reformation Christianity. A significant wave of immigration occurred in the 1630s, with many people flocking to Boston. This influx of settlers played a crucial role in shaping the region's culture, economy, and social structure. So the high articulation of Puritan cultural ideals was a cornerstone of New England society. Their beliefs influenced everything from education and governance to daily life and moral standards. So New England gained a substantial edge with the early establishment of a college and printing press in Cambridge. Printing was established in the American colonies before it was allowed in most of England, which facilitated the spread of knowledge and ideas. So early New Englanders often found parallels between their own experiences and stories from the Jewish tradition. They clung to the Jewish tales, finding similarities between the Jewish exodus and their own migration to the New World. This connection provided them with a sense of purpose and historical context. So Puritan poetry was highly religious in nature. Their poems frequently explored themes of faith, morality, and the relationship between humanity and God. It was a way for them to express their deepest spiritual convictions. The poems of early New England often imitated the form and technique of the mother country, England. However, while they followed English literary traditions, their content reflected their unique experiences and environment in the New World. Yet, religious passion, new settings, and frequent biblical references gave it a new and distinct taste. Their strong religious beliefs and the new landscapes they inhabited influenced their writing, giving it a unique flavor. They imitated writing that was already out of vogue in England as they lived before the advent of swift transportation. This means that their literary style was somewhat behind the times compared to what was fashionable in England. They were a bit isolated, so they stuck to older styles. So one reason of this distinct style is that they remained ignorant of English trends or find English lyrics due to a lack of books and the rejection of different sects. Because of limited access to the latest books and the focus of their own religious beliefs, they weren't always up to date with what was popular in England. The books were not as readily available as they were in England. This scarcity meant that colonists relied more on the older texts and their own interpretations. The Puritans were quite strict about their religious beliefs, and they often rejected ideas from other religious groups. This also influenced what they read and wrote. So colonial worlds tend to be archaic, and New England is no exception. This means that colonial societies often retain older customs and styles, and New England was no different. So archaic means that things tend to be a bit old-fashioned or outdated. In colonial societies, this can happen because they are somewhat isolated from the rapid changes and trends occurring in the mother country. So pre-revolutionary Southern literature was aristocratic and secular. This means that it was often written by and for the upper class, and it focused more on worldly matters rather than religious themes. The writers often came from wealthy plantation owning families, and their works reflected the values and lifestyle of that elite class. Unlike the Puritan dominated literature of New England, Southern literature was more concerned with topics like politics, society, and personal experiences, rather than strict religious doctrine. So it reflected the dominant social and economic system of plantations. The plantation system played a central role in Southern life, and this was often reflected in their literature. So the themes of wealth, class, and the relationship between landowners and enslaved people were common in Southern writing. Many Southerners were poor farmers or tradespeople who lived no better than slaves. It's important to remember that not everyone in the South was a wealthy plantation owner. Many people struggled, and their stories are also part of the region's history. One of the first recorded poets of the British colonies was Anne Bradstreet. Anne Bradstreet remains one of the earliest known women poets who wrote in English. Edward Taylor wrote poems expounding Puritan virtues in a highly wrought metaphysical style that can be seen as of the early colonial period. So in conclusion, colonial American literature varied by region. Puritan New England focused on religious and educational works, while the plantation influenced southern and middle colonies produced more secular, upper-class writings. Despite these differences, early figures like Anne Bradstreet and Edward Taylor laid the foundation for a unique American literary tradition.